On today's show,
after a triple overtime win, we gotta ask, are the Bucks for real?
As the Pistons and Thunder reel, does either team have legitimate playoff aspirations?
And Sideshow Andy brings his inbounds dance to the meme team.
It's Thursday, November 20th. The Starters starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters. Whether you're joining us live online, listening to the podcast, or catching us on NBA TV, very, very happy to have you. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Thanks for joining us, folks.
To my right, the Starters blog editor, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey-o! And finally, it's the Aussie, it's Lee Ellis.
Girls.
Lily, we have a whole lot to try and get to on tonight's show. A crazy, crazy night in the league. We'll get to as much as possible. We had Lance going back to Indy for the first time since jumping ship to go to Charlotte, and it was spoiled with Solomon Hill's crazy game winner. The Lakers, well, they're undefeated. Swaggy P.
Real.
Yeah, he's 2-0. And Dirk tweaked his ankle, went back, got it taped up, came back in time to hit the dagger three in a really, really impressive win for the Mavs over the Wizards last night.
It was quite the eventful return for Jason Kidd, going back to Brooklyn for the first time since going to Milwaukee. We had a few overtimes. Let's jump to the first one. It looked like it was over. Brandon Knight, the steal, tie game, seconds left, and he goes a little too hard off the glass. Just no touch for Brandon Knight. He falls to the floor. Brooklyn thought this baby was over. So did that man. He thought he was going to get a win for the first time. In Brooklyn, nope. But double OT, Brandon Knight, a little redemption. Although he doesn't show it here.
A whole lot
He's
of
quite solemn. Tied up. We're going to a third overtime. And Brandon Knight, yes, he got to seal it. Redemption in the same game. Quite sweet. Finishing it for Jason Kidd, first win, and these Milwaukee Bucks, I should say, are hot out of the gate.
It's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's early, but you look at the Eastern standings, the Bucks right now slotted in the 4th spot.
Home court advantage.
Home court advantage with the playoffs started today, but 7-5. It's something we've talked about a little bit on the show already. Whether or not these Milwaukee Bucks are for real. And you look at the rest of the East and you start to go, you know, someone's going to have to get in there. Why not this team? Because defensively, they continue to impress.
That's what they do. They protect the paint at one end and they go and attack it at the other. And that's where you have to start. I mean, if you're going to give up any sort of shots, you want to give up at least perimeter shots or shots that are a lower percentage. But they're defending their own paint really, really well. And they're not a great shooting team themselves. So they're going down. They're using guys like Yanni and Jabari who are starting to really figure it out.
Yanni and Jabari.
The thing is with Yanni, his length makes it so hard for anyone to defend him because he can get around guys at will.
It's getting better.
Basically,
It's such a better team for Jason Kidd, the personnel on this team, than it was with the Nets, because he always liked, and he did this with Brooklyn, that sort of double-teaming, blitzing defensive coverage. It's one thing to try and do it with the older guys with the Nets, but yeah, you get these really long guys in the Greek Freak, Jabari, you know, Larry in the back. It's working.
It's more about coaching young guys, whereas in Brooklyn, it's more about managing those sort of egos. Those guys who have been around for a lot of years, they don't necessarily tune into a coach, especially one in his first year. Young guys like Jabari and Giannis, though, this is their first real experience with an experienced coach. I know Yanni was a rookie last season, but they've got more to learn from Jason Kidd. And I said at the start of the season in previous years, I didn't think it was a great move, but so far, Jason Kidd's done a very good job.
Even guys who weren't notoriously good defenders are moving their tootsies on defense. Like a guy like Gerald Bayless. Jared Bayless just isn't a great defender.
Yeah.
I think he's shown that throughout his career. But he is moving his feet and getting in front of guys.
Yeah.
Their entire rotation. As you said, they can't score the basketball all that well, but in the Eastern Conference, doesn't matter.
You only got to be good on one side.
You have to be good on one side, and that's it. There's this year's version of the Hornets, it feels.
It does. You think they're a playoff team, even with a starting backcourt of a Brandon Knight and an O.J. Mayo, who both of those guys have impressed early in the season.
I think it's more like, if you look at their team last year, you would have picked them to maybe be the 8th seed in the playoffs. Maybe last year is more the surprise that things went so horribly, but they had a bad fit with their coach. O.J. Mayo showed up out of shape, and Larry Sanders just could not stay on the court. This year, they've got their same team back. Jabari's there. Yanni is better. So it kind of makes sense that maybe they could end up around, 38 to 40 wins, and that gets you in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
I love to see Yanni now, and it looks like it should be for good, into that starting lineup and getting those minutes. And a really impressive, first off, stat line last night, 18 and 12, but he had impact like he can on both ends. And we always he's going to be unbelievable on defense because of his length. But I like now this guy. He's attacking.
He's just learning how to play basketball.
He's attacking. He's nearly driving 5 times per game, and he's got a pretty good scoring percentage when he's doing that, and that's obviously up from last year.
Yeah, it was a surprise when Jason Kidd started him on the bench because we saw him in Summer League. He was really, really impressive. But obviously now, whatever he's done, Jason Kidd's decided, I'm going to get him out there. And it showed last night as well, defensively in those last couple of plays, on Joe Johnson, who's one of the best finishers in the league. Yanni was right there, just had his hands in his face, didn't bite on too many fakes, and really caused Joe Johnson to not be able to get a good look.
I got to ask you, Skeets, are you a believer now? Because I know the three of the 4 of us picked them to make the playoffs the other day. Hey, there are a bunch of teams that are going to be fighting with them for the 7th and 8th playoff spots. But are you jumping on board?
Because
I think we're riding the train.
I'm not. And again, I do love watching this team. It was one of my must-watch League Pass teams. But I can't convince myself that those other squads, be it the Knicks, the Nets, maybe even the Pistons, the Magic, I keep waiting, I guess, for one of those teams to sort of turn it around, or maybe even in this case, 2 of those teams in the East. I'm not yet sold on the Bucks are going to be in the playoffs. I love watching this and how it's going, but those teams got to start figuring it out at some point, right? But you just wonder if they'll be too far back.
And again, we mentioned the Bucks have had a reasonably easy schedule at this stage, and it's going to get tougher, but they've done well so far.
Well, let's talk about the Detroit Pistons because they're
They're
3-9, but they've had a lot of heartbreaking defeats, including last night against the Phoenix Suns. Listen, in all of their games, they have been right there, except for one. 11 winnable games. 9 of their 12 games, they've had a lead within the last 8 minutes of the game, and they've been within 1 point of a couple others. They've just been heartbreaking. They've been down to the wire. Stan Van Gundy not promised that they'd make the playoffs. Didn't promise that, but he promised that they would play hard and get better as the season went on. And the defense, you look at all the defensive numbers, all the geeky numbers right there, they are getting much, much better since last year. Stan Van Gundy had a top 10 defense in each of his 7 seasons as a head coach, except one when Dwight was hurt. So you got to expect, if they get up, like Milwaukee, like closer to that sort of Milwaukee realm, very good on that defensive side, things will turn around. I believe in Stan Van that he will turn this team around, and the signs show that this team is sticking with other teams down to the wire. And you look at his first team, the Miami Heat, the first time he was a head coach, they started 0-7, and they still made the playoffs. They still won 42 games. They started extremely poorly. They ended up being 5-15 to start the season, but they made it back, all the way back. And in a weak Eastern Conference, I think you're going to see a similar jump towards the playoffs. Again, they're going to fight with the teams that we mentioned, the Bucks.
The difference, though, is that those Heat teams had guys that could score the ball when they needed to get baskets. There's nobody that's on the Pistons right now that can really shoot, really pass, or really score.
That's it. The defense is going to keep them in games, but that's what I'm with you. It's like when you get into crunch time, you're in the final 2 minutes, you need a bucket. You got a couple guys on your roster in a Jennings that we've already seen take a few suspect shots. Josh Smith likes to chuck up a 3 every once in a while.
There's no problem with them shooting the ball.
It's making the shot. But it is sort of a who do you go to in a close game. That's my worry.
The D is going to get them there. Greg Monroe is a guy who can obviously score the basketball, and they miss Jody Meeks, who, he's not a big name in this league, but at the shooting guard spot, he'll help a lot. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is shooting for them. That's not going too well. Jody Meeks, as soon as he gets in there, the guy is cash money. Jennings just has to open some space for him. And there's a beautiful relationship going on with SVG and Brandon Jennings right now. Brandon's playing a little bit above his head. But, just to see that Stan Van Gundy has got these guys motivated is an accomplishment these first 12 games.
Sure, Pass is
in the East, they'll be fighting for that playoffs.
Everyone's fighting in the East.
You mentioned the Magic. They're not fighting for anything.
Well, let's jump to the West. Let's jump to the West because it's a team you talked about in the past, Tass. The Oklahoma City Thunder. They lost another one last night. That's their 4th in a row. Last night it was to Denver. Baca, he had a great game, but of course they're still without Durant and Westbrook. And things are looking pretty bad now because we showed you on this show November 10th, I believe it was a Monday, when the Thunder were 2-5. Their 2 superstars are out of business, and we looked at their schedule, which we're showing you here now, when it was the Bucks and the Celtics and the Pistons, the Rockets, the Jazz, and the Nuggets, and we said, it looks pretty easy. And if they can, win half of those games, stay afloat before we start talking about the guys coming back, they'll be okay. That didn't happen. They went 1-5. They're now 3-10. And I think this is now the worst case scenario because here's what I'm thinking is going to happen now at 3-10. You worry that now a guy like Durant or Westbrook rush back. Rush back to try and save this team. Because you thought these games were winnable, and look, they were in a lot of the games. Some of them were ugly. They're like that Rockets one, 69-65. But They ultimately didn't get it done.
And
They
that's
ran
the
gas.
thing, too, with Durant and Westbrook, you have to hope now that they come back on time and that they have no rust and that they don't get hurt again. Durant has played the most minutes of anybody in the league the past 5 years, and he's going to be playing on a foot that got hurt because he wore it down. That doesn't sound like a good combination.
Yeah, it's the home games that really hurt when they lost those home games. Because, yes, they're 3-10, but they're actually 2-3 at home. They're 1-7 on the road. You got to look for bright spots because 2-3 at home is all right because they've got 4 home games coming up. They've got to win a couple of those. And, you know, I wasn't so worried about the road games. They just have to take care of home because if they're 5-15 through 20 games, they just have to win 70% of the rest of their games.
Just
In
70%.
the West, that's what I'm saying.
But that's what they've done the last 3 years with KD and the rest of the lineup. They've won
Healthy,
70%.
yeah, healthy. And that's, again, you're
They're being
expecting them back.
reevaluated this week. Russ gets better the more surgeries he has.
All right, coming up, LeBron comes up short yet again, thanks to those pesky Spurs. We'll talk about that. And Vince gets a little teary-eyed, so come on back. Welcome back to the starters. Let's go north of the wall to Toronto, where the Raps, as part of their 20th celebrations, or their anniversary, I should say, celebrated Vince Carter with the video tribute. He was there with the Grizzlies. And we wondered how the fans would react, and Vince would react. Well, it was beautiful. A beautiful moment. We had a sellout crowd there cheering for the former Rap. He was emotional, as you can see, mouthing the word wow at times, thanking the fans, dabbing away some tears. But I love this. When he did check in, the fans went right back to the booze.
Still got to cheer for the team.
Yeah, so well done there by the Raptors fans, giving him his moment and then booing him rightfully so as soon as the game was back on.
Hey, good on you, Raps fans. I mean, they wholeheartedly cheered him for the first time since he left.
For sure.
10 years ago. And listen, it's time to forgive. We talked about it a ton yesterday, but the fact is he did so much more good than he did bad. He knows he didn't handle it well, and all that pressure of being a superstar, it sort of weighed on him, and then he didn't act well. Unfortunately, that's the way it ended, but hey, it started beautifully last night, and I think it's going to end in a beautiful relationship, which will culminate in the retiring of his jersey one day.
Yeah, because it was cool that he mentioned how much he had helped kind of put Toronto on the map and show people that being in Toronto isn't a bad place. I moved to Toronto. It's great. I agree with him. And I think that's why you're right. He'll get his jersey retired because he's a legend for the Raptors.
I was just happy that Vince Carter didn't hit like a game-winning 3. I mean, it felt like that
kind
was
of his thing, right?
That's sort of his thing, to come back to Toronto and then hit like a huge dagger 3.
Oh, that happened a few times.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm joking about it, but he has done it before, and it was like, oh, please don't hit a game-winning 3. Now part of the Grizzlies to upset all the Raps fans, but he didn't. But it was a great game, by the way, between the Raps and Grizz. The Grizzlies very short-handed.
Yeah, current Raptor Amir Johnson, who wears number 15, said he would give that up too if the Raptors did decide they wanted to retire his jersey. So that's nice of them.
Going to have to check with Garbajosa.
Yeah, they're going to retire the Garbajosa.
Oh, yes, that's absolutely right. All right, well, let's move on. Let's try to get to as much as possible here on today's show. Talk a little Spurs-Cavs, because once again, the Spurs got the best of LeBron James. It was Tim Duncan, Boris Diaw doing the work last night. They each scored 19. It was a close game. The Cavs definitely had their chances. You had Varejao, I think, totally blowing a pass to LeBron there over the top that was deflected and went the other way. I mean, I think if he throws it higher, it's a score and maybe a Cavs win. And then LeBron late in this one, you know, going around traffic, pushing the ball, lost it, they lose. Great game from the Spurs. I wanted to show you this. Ghostface Ziller from SB Nation pointing out that LeBron only has a losing record against 3 teams. The Rockets, the Spurs, and this is including the playoffs, and the Nuggets. LeBron, only 9-13 all-time against the Denver Nuggets.
Doesn't like the altitude.
It's, you know, it's only one game and it's early into the season, but again, it's just another little reminder for LeBron. No matter how talented his roster is, and it's very talented, the continuity and chemistry takes time to build, because even though, you know, it's a close game, it's a one basket game in the end, but it just shows LeBron still that it's not just going to be easy now that he's got Kevin Love and he's playing with Kyrie Irving. He still has to work on getting those guys to all play together like the Spurs do always.
Yeah, and he looked a little frustrated at times in this game because he's got to take the team on his back far too much for them to win basketball games. And he's trying to teach them. He's trying to teach them his ways, but it didn't make sense. A lot of these plays, especially the defensive end, is where they're struggling. We see a 2-on-3 here, and the Spurs finish it off. That can't happen. It just can't happen. LeBron had to do so much. Even on a made basket, the Spurs would get out, and then they'd find a way to score. And this is in a span of the last couple minutes. LeBron gets a block, and they still find a way to put it in the hole. This all happened within the last couple minutes of the third quarter. Again, LeBron doing his thing, leading the way, and then at the other end, well, Boris Diaw, when he gets from the three-point line to the rim in one shot, your defense just isn't working. And then here at the end of the game, you mentioned this, Skeets, the turnover that sealed it. Yeah. And part of it is LeBron is playing a ton of minutes.
Yeah. Part of it is Kawhi Leonard as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Who is as close as you can possibly get to a lockdown LeBron defender.
There's no shame in losing against the San Antonio Spurs. No shame at all.
It does feel to me a little bit like he seems worn down. He doesn't move quite as explosively. He just doesn't seem like a force of nature, and he has been complaining about playing a ton of minutes so far. I wonder if he's just still getting used to being a little skinnier and not just having quite as much muscle.
I think he just knows his team just isn't up to par. And sometimes I think so? In his head, he just, I'm not going to give it my all every second of every play if we're not in this game.
That's so unbelievable because he's gotten killed for that kind of stuff in the past, coasting. Why would he still be doing that?
He's carrying his team.
It's just a weird thing.
But he's played in the finals the last 4 years, which equates to about another whole regular season. So you think 5 regular seasons over 4 seasons, even though he's youngish still, that does take a toll on you after a while.
In the Cavs wins, he's averaging something like 33 a game. In the Cavs losses this year, it's like 19, under 20 a game. So he still has to do the heavy lifting to get the W's. He doesn't want to, though, is the point.
Yeah,
he's sort of struggling with that whole
trying
scenario.
To get everybody else going.
Another great game, though, from the Spurs, who are finally, they're starting to click themselves. All right, got to take a break. When we return, Pistons big man Greg Monroe makes contact in this week's meme team. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the starters.
Do not like.
Back with the starters. Every Thursday, we like to bring you the meme team. A few of our favorite weird and wacky moments from the past 7 days. So let's get right into it. Here's this week's starting 5 of the meme team.
Utah Jazz head coach Quinn Snyder. Oh, he went a little buck nutty. Thunder visiting the Jazz late in the first half. Utah down 12. He wanted his team to wake up! Wake up!
He is scary.
Wake up, Trey, wake up!
I just have small eyes, man. I'm not sleeping.
And they did wake up. They went on a 12-2 run to end the half. It honestly worked. It worked, honestly.
At number 4, Monday night in Boston. 4 men, little hair, and 1 selfie.
Wow.
Gotta hang 10 on the selfie.
Take a photo, it'll last forever. Hang 10, yeah, cool. Dude.
Make sure you send that to me. Will Ferrell in a Pelicans uniform with GM Dell Demps.
Shorts and everything.
In the Anthony Davis garb, looking good.
Look at that farmer's tan. At number 2, Greg Monroe had himself an eye-opening game on Wednesday night. Lost the contact, found it, picked it right back up, and put it back.
It's like Terminator.
In. Did not apply solution to that contact.
That's gross.
And at number 1, Andy Varejao. Just rocking out.
That's how you defend an inbounds. What can you say?
Yeah,
Keep those arms moving.
Make yourself long. There you go.
Wow.
These beats provided by DJ Ronnie Seckley.
Oh, yes, DJ Ronnie.
There you go. The meme team. Our favorite 5 weird and wacky plays. That the Varejao there, it reminded me, maybe it's because we're getting into the holiday season here. I know we haven't had Thanksgiving yet in the States, but everyone's got their Christmas stuff out. Remind me of one of those, like, pull string ornaments. Remember, you ever have these on the tree? Yeah, you pull those.
Trim the tree.
Very similar, no, to what Andy was doing. It was like an imaginary string.
He's got the same hair too, that guy.
Getting him going. All right. Let's unleash the unicorn. It's time for the starters fantasy minute. And we had so many games on that we like to take you through a few of the crazy lines. Lovely fantasy lines of the night. One boy love for Zach Randolph and Mark Gasol with the Grizzlies. They both had monster lines. Al Jefferson did his thing. But our top 3 woe boys, Boris Diaw, Bobo, once again, continuing to play well against LeBron teams. He filled the box score. 19 points, 6 boards, 7 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. He had 3 in there. I mean, he did it all, as he likes to do against LeBron's teams.
Too quick, man. You can't guard him.
Look at
Running this hook.
Our number 2, oh boy, Monty Ellis Havidal against the Wizards. 34 points, and he did some damage at the line. 12 of 14 free throws, chipped in 4 assists, only 1 rebound, and a steal, but a cool 34, and again, helping you in the free throw category there.
Sure.
In fantasy. But number 1, it goes to Wolves guard Kevin Martin, the woe boy of the night for Wednesday. 37 points on 7 threes, 4 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals as well. I mean, he just went off against the Knicks.
Dude can score.
37 points on 20 shots?
Yeah.
That's the Knicks. And the guy I'm playing, Matty O, our producer, of course, has Kevin Martin in fantasy basketball there. Not happy about that. By the way, Lee Ellis calling Bradley Beal scoring over 20 points.
He's the real deal,
You called it, man. Hats off to you. Thank God we really didn't bet on the unicorn mask. All right, one more break, but when we return, our pick and payoff results, Lee's very solid play, and it's Legends Night in Sacramento. Mike Bibby. Welcome back to the starters. Oh, how the tables have turned in the pick and payoff contest. I was leading for a good chunk of November, but Tass with a 4-1 night. I went 2-3, and there you see Tass has a 34-26 record. I'm 32-28, 2 games back. Not a lot of time left in November either.
You got some time.
We got less than a week. We're gonna have a couple days off next week because of Thanksgiving.
Thank you, America.
As for tonight's picks, well, there's only 2 games, both of them on TNT. I know you'll be watching. We start with the Clippers in Miami. We both like the Clips. And then the Bulls and Kings is our nightcap, and both of us going with Sacramento. So I'm not gaining a game on you tonight. Though one thing some of you will be interested in, not myself so much, but Mike Bibby getting a tribute in Sacramento. I am not a Mike Bibby fan, but
on Team Dime?
They will be honoring him. I guess originally they were supposed to honor White Chocolate, Jason Williams, but he couldn't make it. So Bibby, you're in.
Mike Bibby's always replacing Jason Williams. That's his calling in life, is to show up when Jason Williams isn't there.
I always get confused. I see Mike Bibby and then I think I'm seeing Doug Christie. They look so similar to me.
So there you go.
A
So
few
those
inches,
are the double header. Again, we like the Clips and the Kings in the pick and pay on contest. Let's turn to Lee Ellis, though, for the very solid play of the night. Lee, what do you got?
Going to Cleveland, but it's the San Antonio Spurs. This one comes from the Big Three. We've seen it a million times, but it's still gorgeous. But as soon as this play happened, NBA.com's John Schumann predicted on Twitter that this would be the very solid play. So, John?
That's what Lee calls a very solid play.
Wow.
Yeah,
a cameo from Schumann.
He said it was an 80% chance that would be today's very solid play. He was 20% out on his maths.
Wow, and he calls himself a stats guy.
100%.
Exactly.
Nice shirt, by the way, there, Schumann, with the double dribble throwback NES days. I like it. All right, guys, a reminder, tomorrow on Fridays, before we get on TV and do the Daily Show, we record an hour-long podcast. You can subscribe to that bad boy on iTunes.
Or Google Play or other places.
It's available everywhere on the internet,
is.
I'm told. We get into a whole bunch of NBA topics, and we have Lee's Tweet of the Week, and Tass's Worst of the Week, and the Pun Gun, and a whole lot of fun. So subscribe to the show on iTunes.
Thanks for joining us today, folks. And remember, if you're not careful when working out, you could hurt your neck, your back, your shoulders, and your traps.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that one. Embrace the night, people.
I'm a little tight.